Sideline Guys, back on the air at sidelineguys.recordernews.com. Mark Robarge along with Adam Schinder. And we put the final wrap on high school basketball season today as we present our awards special. You know, we got the Academy Awards, the Emmys. We figured we could do this as well, the Sideline Guys Awards special.
Yeah, not quite a red carpet for this one, just a little bit rainy out today for that. But earlier today, just a little while ago, I had a chance to speak on location with our 2010-2011 Boys Basketball Player of the Year.
All right, I'm here at Fultonville High School, and I'm joined by our recorder, 2010-2011 Boys Basketball Player of the Year, Luke Nethaway. Luke, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk about just a little bit, talk about the way your game has changed since you started out.
My role when I was a sophomore is just come in, get the rebounds, pass out to the shooters, and as I got older, coach worked with me in my post moves, and just that became my job. It's down when I get downside, look for the outside shooters or make a post move. So.
I mean, talk a little bit about the change from the last 2 years to this year where, I mean, especially last year, it was a team with so many guys with so much experience. And now you come back this year and you're the only guy who saw a ton of minutes, and this team still makes it all the way to the Class B title game.
Yeah, last year we had a lot of talent. I mean, my job last year was get, what it's always been, when I wasn't the main guy, I would pass it out to it was more of a team effort. This year, I started off where I had to score the points and get everyone involved, and then towards the end, I mean, it just kind of clicked and kind of became kind of like last year.
It was sort of the thing where the whole team sort of started to definitely gel, especially as the playoffs moved on, switching to the new league, and you guys really seemed ready once the playoffs started.
Yeah, the Colonial Council definitely got us more prepared than the WAC. I mean, the WAC had good competition. The Colonial overall was a lot harder teams. We played a good team every single day.
I mean, were there any specific games that really stuck out to you this year?
Lansingburg, I mean, not even just because we won it, but just because of the fact that it was a big team, people didn't even give us a chance to be in it. And then being able to win it is good enough, but just that kind of gelled us as a team, proving that we could play a big level. So.
I mean, talk a little bit about the playoff run this year. Obviously, a tough way to end it, coming up just short in a great game against Waterville. But to go in against Hoosick Falls in the semifinals, another team that is they were the #1 seed and very much expected to be there at the end, and you guys came in and really took it to them from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, everyone put us out, but it's always been. We've always been the underdog, no matter what. Even for like last year, no one thought we were going to do what we could, and it's just been our kind of mentality. Come every day, just play as hard as you can. With the Hoosick, the kids didn't come out, Friday day. They were ready to go. They liked the challenge, and I showed it.
Definitely feel like it's a good legacy to leave behind what you guys have done the last 2 years.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it ups the standards. I mean, with Coach Wilson, he could take anyone and make them great, and he's just an outstanding coach. And I won't be surprised if they're back next year and years to come, because he's just an outstanding coach.
That's Luke Nethaway, our 2010-2011 Recorder Boys Basketball Player of the Year. Luke, congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you.
And there he is, your Boys Basketball Player of the Year, Luke Nethaway from Fultonville. And when the votes tallied up,
it was a unanimous selection, 3-0.
And Luke was, I mean, you hear him there, and he's always been such a humble but talented kid. And he's a guy who, he really talked about how he evolved as a player, as a guy who, as we've often joked here, when he came to that varsity team as a sophomore, he was very much the other 5 fouls for his older brother Josh. He always had a ton of potential, a terrific athlete. But over the last 2 years, especially this year, he really became the guy who his teammates leaned upon as a producer.
Absolutely. He stepped from really more of a supporting role last year, although he showed some flashes of brilliance last year, really into a role of being the team leader this year, and he really relished that role. You could see it, the confidence not only with which he played on the court, but with which he led his teammates, and with which his teammates tend to follow his lead as well. And you couldn't think of a better kid, not just a player, for this role.
No, and Luke is kind of a throwback now, because he's a very rare kid in these day and age where he's really a 3-sport star. Yep. A terrific football player, a terrific basketball player, and now with baseball season coming along, he's going to be one of the best in the area yet again. But I can actually pinpoint the moment last year that I knew that Luke was going to be the leader of this team this year. It was in the sectional semifinals at Glens Falls up against Johnstown, when he went up against Johnstown's Ian Yost, who was one of the best post players in all of Section 2 a season ago, held him to 4 points and scored 16 points at a point when he had not really been a double-digit scorer all that much last year. And this year he just turned it up, had some big games, the game winner against Lansingburg, a huge game in the sectional semis against Hoosick Falls. I can't think of someone more deserving.
And we got a couple of honorable mentions we want to throw out there as well. Of course, the all-area team will be published this weekend's edition of the Recorder, but just a couple of honorable mentions for Player of the Year. My honorable mention goes out to Jack Ray of Fort Plain. Jack, not the biggest scorer on the team, not the biggest rebounder, maybe not the biggest assist guy, but he really was kind of the glue that held that team together all year long as they marched to the WAC Cup title and marched through the Class C sectionals all the way to semifinals before their disappointing loss to Lake George. Jack was always the one you could count on for the big pass out of the post in the middle. He was a scrapper on defense, a scrapper on rebounds. I still think he has the sweetest foul line jumper of any of the local kids this year. He's just that kid that gives you a little bit of everything.
And my honorable mention goes to the area's leading scorer, Tyler Wood from Broadalbin and Perth. Finished the year top 5 or 6 in all of Section 2 in scoring, led all Class B or Double B players in scoring, and just one of the best natural scorers I've seen. Not a physically imposing kid, only about 6 feet tall, skinny as a rail, but he could get to the basket. He had tremendous range, and he was a guy, he had a nose for scoring. Whenever they needed a big moment, he was the guy that the Patriots put the ball in the hands. He really started last year when he scored 76 points combined in 2 playoff games, but really carried over this year and was really, in a Foothills Council that features a lot of dynamic players, he really stood out.
Now, keeping it on the boys' side, we're also going to hand out our Coach of the Year honors here as well. And you know what? As great a year as the Fort Plain team had and as great a coaching job as Craig Phillips had, I don't think anybody can doubt that the real Coach of the Year in the area this year, Fonda's Eric Wilson. The job he did with this team, which was basically Luke and a cast of young characters, to get them all the way to the sectional final and on the very doorstep of repeat as Class B champions. You have to give Coach Wilson a lot of that credit.
Yeah, I said this in my column after the Braves lost to Waterville last week, that last year Eric Wilson took a team loaded with talent. They went undefeated through Section 2 and won a Class B title. This year they lost 8 games, and he did 20 times better a job coaching this team. Cannot say enough good things about Eric and the job he did, taking a team that had 3 players with any varsity experience and 1 with any varsity experience in any kind of pressure situation whatsoever, and taking them through that pressure cooker that first year in the Colonial Council to come out and the way they played the first 3 games of the playoffs, and then to come that close to beating a really talented Waterville team that had already beaten them twice. To get that close to a sectional title with a team with that little experience, just a tremendous job.
As he said to us after that loss to Waterville in the sectional championship game, you're taking a bunch of JV kids who play JV ball, not just JV ball, but JV ball in the Western Athletic Conference, taking them and throwing them into the pressure cooker of the Colonial Council, which is probably one of the 2 or 3 best leagues in the area. And to see them grow up the way they did was just impressive. It was a painful growing process at times. I mean, they did have a tough stretch of the season, but they came out a much better team, and I would have to say that they would have to be one of the favorites in the Colonial next year.
Absolutely, especially if Will Turner, who was a freshman this year, can really grow into the role that Luke is going to be vacating as a power guy in the post, because that is a league with a lot of very good big men.
Absolutely.
Now we swing across to the girls, and our girls basketball player of the year.
Also a unanimous choice.
Also a unanimous. From Fort Plain, she passed the 1,000-point mark right near the end of the regular season, Kelsey Logan. And Kelsey I had a chance to see a few times this year, several times over her career. Another 3-sport athlete, and just another, like Tyler Wood from BP, someone who was just a dynamic scorer. They put the ball in her hands whenever they needed something. She could create whenever she needed to. A terrific athlete, and someone who really pulled Fort Plain to the share of the WAC North title.
Absolutely, and we were talking about Michaela Gross and
Kelsey Hagedorn.
Kelsey Hagedorn, thank you very much. Really a good solid trio that led them to a great season. Can't say anything more about Kelsey Logan. I mean, she's just an incredible individual player. I think she's going to have at least a little bit of a future beyond high school.
That definitely something. Just her athletic talent. Yeah. You'd have to think she's got a chance to move on, if not basketball, maybe soccer, maybe softball. But look at a couple honorable mentions for girls. I've got to go with Amsterdam's Megan Smith. who she missed the first 3 games of the season, and it was obvious that this team missed her.
Absolutely.
They struggled really badly out of the gate without really anyone who could control the ball and score. And once she got back, she gave them a jump from the instant. Whenever this team had its big moments this season, when they beat Catholic Central at home, when they beat West 50th Street Campus for Manhattan during the holiday showcase, Megan Smith was the reason that this team did that, and she's coming back. She's only a junior, and what I like about her is she's got one of the quickest turns from defense to offense that I have ever seen. If you give a long rebound to Megan Smith, it's going to be 2 on the other end.
And I'm going to throw out there 3 honorable mentions in one. Mackenzie Stoller, Alicia Stetton, Emily Little out in Canajoharie. The 3 of them really led that team to a great season, got Marie Stoller her 200th career victory. They won the WAC title. They won the WAC Cup title as well. Upset in the first round of sectionals, but a great season nonetheless. And that also leads us right across to our women's coach, our female coach of the year.
And that is Marie Stoller from Canajoharie. It was not a banner year for girls basketball around here, especially in terms of sectional success. Pretty much everyone done by the first round. But I give a lot of credit to Marie Stoller, especially for that WAC Cup win against a very tough Bern Knox team. But you look at that team and the way it plays, they had a lot of balance. They had 2 very good inside players. They had Mackenzie Stoller coming on the wing. They had Kelsey Aldi playing the point. Yep. And Marie Stoller did a very good job with almost no depth.
Absolutely.
I mean, really taking that team to the WAC South
That was
title.
the thing that amazed me the most, was watching that WAC Cup championship game against Bern Knox Westerlo and seeing the starting 5 play the entire 32 minutes of the game. I have never seen that in a high school game, boys or girls. And the fact that those girls not only played the entire game, but also seemed to get stronger as the game went along impressed me. Not a surprise by the coaching job Marie's done for me. I've seen Marie, I've been dealing with Marie for more than a decade now, and she has always, in my mind, been one of the best coaches in the area. This year, probably one of her better teams to work with.
Yeah, and much deserved her 200th win earlier this year. For the full all-area teams, check the boys will be in this Saturday's recorder, then the girls on Monday. And you can come right back here Monday afternoon as we'll have yet another edition of the Sideline Guys.
This time unveiling our NCAA tournament brackets. It should be interesting. Our own version of bracketology Monday on the Sideline Guys.
All right, for Mark, I'm Adam, and we'll see you next time at sidelineguys.recordernews.com.